Today I would like to talk about the narcissist dichotomy. If you've never heard of the term dichotomy, it simply means that you are dealing with two opposing things that are very different from each other. A contrast or a contradiction even. And I think we can agree on the fact that covert narcissists are the most dichotomous and contradicting individuals you will have ever met. You simply don't get what you see. It's confusing. They are so full of contradictions that they don't make any sense. They expect you to make sense at all times, though, while their explanations and justifications as to why they do what they do are completely irrational. But that's just one of the many double standards you'll be confronted with when you're involved with one of them. The mere fact that we differentiate between an overt and a covert type of a narcissist is evidence enough of the dichotomy. And usually the covert narcissist is both types in one person. In public, he will act like the most innocent and perfect partner to blend in like a chameleon, but will be more overtly abusive behind closed doors when you're alone. That's why we often refer to a narcissist's false and true self, but both are far from being authentic. Narcissists have an image to maintain 24/7. They have mastered the art of impression management, and that doesn't solely pertain to the public or social media, even when you're alone with them. The abusive behavior and boisterous grandiosity you will be confronted with in private is nothing more but a way to hide their true and authentic self even deeper. That is their inability to be vulnerable and a whole bunch of other insecurities they want to hide from you. The fear they create by exuding power and control over you in whichever effective way they choose is nothing more than narcissistic supply to them. It feeds their own fragile ego and self-worth and diminishes their feeling of being weak, inadequate, not good enough, or even helpless in this world. I remember how the adults around me used to call the bullies cowards in my school. And that's just who they are. Weak and coward bullies, hiding behind a mask of fake strength and self-confidence they can only gain by intimidating others. Narcissists have never matured past elementary school age. They are a case of arrested development. You're basically dealing with a child, not an adult. That's why it's so exhausting. Even worse should you have children with a narcissist, because you will always be dealing with a +1. I think herein lie the dangers too, as the narcissist is like a little rascal with the permission to execute the rights of a grown adult. He will act irresponsibly with his own life or the lives of others and do all kinds of reckless and dangerous shenanigans. What you need to understand is narcissists are more dependent on other people than they would like to admit. While they may tell you you'd be the one who can't live without them, it's actually them who need other people, or much rather the supply they have to offer, like we need the air to breathe. And they make sure you keep on believing in their facade by lying to you, gaslighting, or putting the blame on you to take accountability for your alleged bad behavior. Narcissists want to hold everybody accountable, while they see nothing wrong with their own actions, despite them having to face the consequences of them over and over again. In their minds, nothing is ever their fault. The boss didn't like them, the neighbor is jealous, the dog ate their homework. You get my point. They're full of excuses such as these. But don't you dare using a white lie in front of them just to survive the day. That is one of the many double standards they have. They don't just create double standards between the two of you, but also between you and other people. That, by the way, is a form of triangulation. For instance, a narcissist may tell you to not wear any makeup, but admires it on another person. And he will make sure to rub that into your face. Not the makeup, but the other woman's name, beauty, and perfection, of course. What's kind of funny is when the narcissist slips into the role of the moralizer, telling you the world is gray, not black and white. I mean, let's be real. To them, everything is only ever black or white. Splitting is one of their many defense mechanisms. Something or someone is either good or evil, hence their preoccupation with the many alleged enemies they have who couldn't even care less about them. They have no gray area, because quite often the narcissist will also trust others blindly until he's proven otherwise. That's why he thinks everybody is out to get him, so he rationalizes his bad behavior by doing it to others before they do it to him. In other words, narcissists are not only the most contradicting, but also the most immoral persons you will have ever met. And it's strange how they always express their inner thoughts and belief system. It's like they do it to convince others that that's who they truly are. They like to portray themselves as an enlightened person of God, especially when it comes to the spiritual or communal narcissist. Trust and believe the opposite of what they say will always give you the truth. For instance, they will tell you how very wrong it is to date so much younger people while they keep on preying on those who have only reached adulthood not too long ago. They don't even shy away from dating other people as old as their own children, but will tell everybody else how disgusting and immoral that would be. Well, why would they care? Because what's done in the dark? Remember, they are all about words and not actions. That's just one of the many red flags you need to pay attention to. And no genuine person ever just talks about who they are and what they can do. They will show their beliefs and values in their actions instead. There's no need to talk about it. If they ever even reflect on their good behavior, it's only natural to them. It's just who they are. As usual, consistency is key here. Are their words met by their actions? Do they live by the same set of values and standards consistently? Sure, values and standards can change, but not at a moment's notice, as they do with a narcissist. You just never know what you have with them. They change their moral compass and opinions, whatever the situation they are in requires out of them, to reach their goals or cater to their immediate needs. Narcissists have a tendency to project their own flaws onto other people while expecting to be treated like royalty. They are the worst critics out there, but should be on the receiving end of it. Of course, they will eventually only sabotage the good things that sometimes come their ways. I think one of the biggest contradictions is that narcissists have such a huge fear of abandonment and anxiety, but they do everything in the name of deception and abuse that being abandoned becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Unfortunately, it's giving them ample supply to feed a sob story to their next victims until they wake up to the reality, only to be left again. Now, if you think you're caught up in a cycle, think again. Narcissists are the victims of their own cycles that they not only create, but keep on perpetuating. They are the ones who are truly stuck in this endless loop of hope and despair, as they live their lives making the same mistakes on repeat. They battle their own false self because they live in such denial that even therapy seems like a lost cause, should they ever admit themselves to it. I won't pity them. What it all comes down to, the covert narcissist is a walking dichotomy, a walking contradiction. And living with them is a constant dare if you do, dare if you don't, because you just never know where you're standing with them, whether you're on their good or bad side in the moment, or whether you're dealing with the true or the false. Simply nothing ever makes sense. And ultimately, as you are trying to adapt to the ever-shifting goalpost, you won't make sense either. Okay, that's all I've got for you today. If you like this podcast, I would really appreciate if you liked, shared, or subscribed to it, so more survivors can find this channel and we can grow a community on YouTube together. Thank you very much for listening. Stay safe and have a great day.